Today is transmission day. Also, your boy does dress up occasionally. Today we had our very important meeting with Yokohama in the HQ office in Shinagawa. Very, very good meeting, and I'm excited to announce that we've got another beautiful year with Yokohama on board, and I'm super excited for everything that's coming. That aside though, we just got the transmission out of the Altezza, which means new clutch time, and we've been having not so much of a good time actually with this. Let me quickly get a flashlight. The transmission was stuck on, and we were fighting with it backwards and forwards, trying to figure out what was going on. And then, as we finally got it out, there you can see that in there, but the pilot bearing is just, loose out of the crank and chilling in there. So that somehow came out of the crank and got stuck on our input shaft. I was able to free it up by spraying a bunch of WD-40 on this and letting it kind of soak in there, and then a little in and out motion on the transmission, and finally let it go. But that's the first time I've had that happen. And I hope that the rest of this dual mass flywheel kind of goes smoothly. I really hope it's not twisted and broken and we don't have to do any kind of weird stuff to be able to get it off. But yeah, we also found that like 4 of the bolts were loose on the pressure plate. So glad we do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And there's our pilot bearing. Love that. That's a little strange. I'm gonna have to get a new one, I think. I'm glad we got this thing off. If you don't know what a dual mass flywheel is, essentially the surface of this flywheel is kind of separate from the bottom layer. And there's like all these, not springs, but kind of, they work like springs in between this front layer and the back layer, and they kind of dampen the force of the clutch as it engages on it. The problem is in motorsport, we clutch dump this thing and they explode. So not good. Good for a daily driver, dampening it and making it squishy and soft and nice and stuff like that for that engagement point. But yeah, terrible for motorsports. You can really see that this pressure plate has seen some things on this clutch. Look how rusty it is too. Pretty yikes. Guess what? Our box of parts has arrived. Everything we were waiting for from Serial 9 to get here finally is here, which means we can have the whole car back together on the ground and moving off the lift for the first time in probably a month. This thing's been on the lift, maybe longer. So I'm really excited. We can get our transmission done and all the suspension stuff done and start to wrap this thing up. Not looking forward to the rear and the glass situation and making it all look good, but we'll make that work with a hammer and a welder or something. That aside though, let's get into this. They always throw in some stickers. And once again, I do just want to say, if you have a JZX or an Altezza or an IS200, if you want parts for your car, you need to get Serial 9. It is the best quality stuff I've ever worked with. Their bushings and everything just drop straight in. You don't have to fight with it. It is such an amazing experience, and your car literally will love you for it as well. Trust me, your spine will as well. Anyways, we're gonna be going for a full Serial 9 knuckle front end package on this. The reason for that is I want something that feels natural, fun, cool, snappy, not too much crazy angle, but I want it to feel like it's, how do I explain? I want that kind of like grassroots feeling car. And I feel like this is gonna nail it on the head. I've driven Jimmy Oakes' car, he runs these as well. Gobbler as well has a set of these on his car at Ebisu, and it's held up totally fine to all the abuse. So I think it's just perfect that we put it on this car. And it's really good because it utilizes a lot of the OEM parts, which means that if we crash or anything like that, there's a good chance we can just get it back up and running with a few other spare parts that they sent us as well. So let's open this. This is their AK knuckle set. Ooh, they include a nice little bag. Look at that. It's kind of nice. And this is one side. Ooh, look at the tie rod end too. Whoa, that's so cool. Their quality level on products is incredible. Shout out to the guys in Canada for that. They kill it every time, I swear. Dude, the hind joints are nice, so nice. Actually, I think this is a new product, maybe these outers, but this is their knuckle. Everything is listed in here, even a QR code that you scan to get instructions. Super good. And how this works, let me grab a fresh knuckle real quick to show you. Oh, I'm so excited because it has these too. That's a big deal to make sure that it actually has a lot of strength with your uprights. So this is a brand new knuckle, and I decided to get a brand new one because I want a brand new ball joint. these ball joints can get worn out and it's not good to do it with a sloppy one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be changing this pickup point. This is where your tie rod usually goes in with the stock knuckle. We're gonna be chopping that and we're gonna be left with these two here. And then this is going to bolt onto that. Does that make sense? I think it'll be something like that. But obviously I've got the left knuckle and this is the right knuckle here in my hand, so it's kind of flipped, but you get the point. We're changing the pickup point to shorter in here compared to all the way down and out here, if that makes sense. So should be quite nice. We got a lot of work to do. We also have their extended LCAs, which will have upgraded bushings as well. I'll just put that all there for now. They include new hardware and everything. Follow their instructions. There's some stuff that you can really mess up with this when you're assembling it, with certain tapers and things like that. You wanna actually do it to the torque spec, not just ugga-dugga spec. They did send us a couple spare if we ever needed them. Like if we got into an accident and broke one or something like that, we've got that. And then we also got 2 sets of their lower arms. One is a spare, once again, in case we get into an accident. It's Ebisu Circuit. It's not a matter of if, but when. And let me show you these, because these are beautiful. They are extended. I believe they're like 25 or so. And they also have the poly bushing already pressed into them. So they're freaking awesome. It's a little beefier and stronger than OEM as well, which is nice. But the most important thing is the upgraded bushing here, which really takes a lot of the slop out and the problems that these things have. But yeah, really excited. We're gonna put all these on the car. Should be able to get the thing on the ground and rolling for the first time with a new clutch and everything. It's gonna feel great. Last night, I was a little bored before going to the gym and I felt like soldering, so I installed the fuel cut defender onto the stock ECU. Super easy, it's just 4 wires that you cut and splice. Follow the instructions that come in the kit, but this is really gonna be temporary because I really wanna put this on a plug-in link ECU. You can use the 3SGE Altezza plug-in ECU for the 1G. You just have to change a few pins around. So we'll be doing that later on, but for now, we're gonna use the stock ECU, which moves on to my second point. The moment the video went live, everyone started blowing up my DMs and sending me warning emails and stuff about the throttle body mod that we did with the stock ECU and adding boost. And we're gonna take it off. We're gonna set it back to the way it was because apparently that will mean that the ECU will get angry, it won't be on its correct map, it won't get enough fueling, and it'll blow the engine really, really quickly because when you add boost and using a stock ECU, it does weird stuff because it can't really figure out where it's at. So we're gonna have to take the throttle body back off and undo what we did, but when we put the link ECU in this, we'll go back to manualizing it and doing the same mod so that we get proper throttle control. So, I mean, for now, it's okay. We'll make do with what we have, but obviously it's gonna be a much better experience and be a lot more responsive when we get the link ECU and manualize the throttle body again. So we'll be doing that. Thank you to everyone who messaged me. I'm glad I saw all that before we went and tried and did something stupid. That's that though. Let's get this transmission back in the car. We've got everything torque to spec, flywheel, clutch, all good. Let's see if our centering tool just comes out like a breeze, and it does. I love that. Best thing about this tool is it's all 3D printed. Super simple, love it. Dude, 3D printers are changing the game for just automotive work. I feel like a lot of shops now just need to have a little 3D printer in the corner of their store, being able to print stuff like this because you know, sometimes you can print something that you need, like little tools like this, alignment tools, faster than what you could order one for or figure out what you need and everything. You could just, you know, quickly 3D scan it, print it, make it, and you're good in a few hours, you know what I mean? Or overnight. But yeah, anyways, clutch is in, time to get that transmission. It's in! Nice. Transmission in. All buttoned up, everything went in really smoothly, super stoked. When we took it out, it was all stuck and seized and rusted and stuff in there, so I'm glad everything went in there nice. Nothing, a bit of Scotch-Brite and some anti-seize and a bit of grease where it's supposed to be, should be. But yeah, she's in. Now we gotta button this all up and we can start getting to the front suspension. So slow. Serial 9's OEM Plus stuff, so good. If you have JZX, I cannot stress to you the difference in handling it makes when you have these bushings in. It's OEM Plus, so you can still use your OEM arms and everything, but the bushing is made from like more like denser, I guess it's either poly or it's like Delrin or some kind. It's like a really nice direct feel, and you can feel everything through the steering wheel so much better. Get a bit of grease on this. Help it slide in. We'll see how lucky we're about to be. But this should just probably, if I put a bit more grease on there, it'd go in a little easier, but.
Wow.
Done.
Super effective. Thanks, SP Tools.
Yeah, literally. Nice. I think we're ready to go. This one is left. This one is right.
So how many mil longer are these?
25, I believe.
Okay, so it's just like a little modest.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Oh, that's cool.
These eccentric bolts here. Some people sometimes, if these get damaged, they just go to the home center and get a special bolt, but don't do that. These have a special ribbing here, and these are special alignment bolts that are notched and stuff. So these break and do get destroyed from time to time. It's better in that case to just order these from Toyota. They're like $1. What happens is this little notch here, so on the washer, see these little notches? If you like have a bit of a hit, these get rounded out, and then all of a sudden you can no longer do an alignment.
Yeah, like as you're driving, it probably shifts then.
Yeah. I think these brackets were literally like 500 yen
But
each.
hang on, before you take it off, part number for today.
Yeah.
Here for YouTube.
Yeah, there's a different part number for right and left. Bit of heat on that so it doesn't leave any of that paper residue.
Oh, the other ones fell off the hoodie, but it's the thought that counts.
Exactly, the Toyota part number hoodie. Actually, we should make that. Just with every part number for all the different, that'd be
so
such a
cool.
funny hoodie, right?
Like Altezza in the front and just all the part number stickers all over, making like a
all
collage in the back.
All the part numbers of just everything for an Altezza.
New merch drop idea.
Hey, Mr. Altezza hood. Okay, so I'm gonna sit that there loosely because the next thing that we need are these, which is an absolute work of art. That's the left. All right. These were completely destroyed and rusted. So the fact that we were able to bring these back is incredible. That's got to slide onto there like that. And then this actually has to go into the arm like that. And then the bolts go through and thread into it. So how we got to get that into place is going to be interesting. More friends have arrived and we're trying to get this thing done tonight. I don't know if we're going to make it just because there's so much going on right now behind the scenes, but this is the brand new knuckle. And this has to go into there, but this way. And this would normally be the pickup point. So we have to cut that off straight here because we have this instead. I love that they give you this nice bag. It's kind of cool.
Whoa.
This, yo, will go there instead. So see how much shorter like the placement is of where the pickup point is, and that's going to give you the angle. So I think what we have to do is actually just follow this line here and cut there. But instead of thinking and making a mistake, I'm going to triple check, I'm going to scan this QR code, watch the instructions, and then I'll chop them and put it together. So I finished cutting the knuckles, I cleaned them up and made sure we put a little bit of paint on there too, so we're not gonna get any rust issues. This side is all together now as well. We're gonna sit this in there like that. I'm gonna get the nut and everything and we're gonna start assembling this side. Over and on the ground. Need to get a bolt out. We're gonna just slide one of these bolts in. Nice. I do have to say, it's really nice that they provide all the hardware and everything you need to assemble this. And it's got those proper little, I'm not sure, collets or whatever, those locking collets for the spindle and everything. Because if you guys know, we've had issues before in the past with other angle kits where they don't include that. And it means that it's structurally just not sound. And eventually it does kind of like fatigue the bolts and snap them clean off. And then, well, yeah, you end up with issues. But live and you learn. Companies always upgrade and change, revisions come and go. And that's just how the business works, especially with drifting. All right, torquing our bottom bolts. These get torqued to 100 foot-pound. Oh, that feels like a lot, but I trust them. They know what's up. And also, you don't want your knuckle falling off on you.
Yeah, geez.
I know.
That would be terrible.
I have been waiting for this brand new Dixel rotors. These are like the go-to budget-friendly good rotors here in Japan. Ready to rip. Oh, so excited. So I don't know if you've missed it, but we have put on here Tourer V Mark II calipers. So a little bit of a bigger brake, nice upgrade for this, should help it slow down, you know, because we put a turbo on this. Don't know if you know, it's gonna add a little bit more power. So I wanna be able to slow this old go. Also, I'm just preemptively putting these on in case we ever go and put a 2J in this. I'm about to put the tie rods in, but the most important step that we need to do is make sure our rack is centered. We just changed that. And if your rack is not centered before you put your tie rods on and do your alignment, you're gonna have an issue where one side is gonna have more travel than the other kind of thing. It's just gonna cause a bunch of really bizarre, weird issues inside the car for the driver. So always center your rack. You wanna make sure that you just measure both sides from the face of the rack. So sometimes you gotta go inside the little boss here and make sure we've got 70 mils either side, which means we are centered and we can put our tie rods in. Now the tie rods that I use, my favorite ones are the Kazuma ones. They always have stock, they're readily available, they're a little beefier, and they're just a really good affordable tie rod. So we're gonna be threading these in. They also come with like a little bit of a space here. They're a little longer than stock too. So these will literally just thread straight into the rack like that. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. Red Loctite. You definitely don't want these things coming loose, so it's always good to put a bit of Loctite on them. They're under a lot of stress when you've got knuckles and things like that, so always put a bit of Loctite on them. And now we want to thread that in. There we go. Nice, those are tight.
Bed of wrenches.
Yes, comfy pillow, see?
So we were at the point where I'm just doing a little bit of an eyeball alignment, and this is purely just to, you know, get us a base figure of how much roughly angle we're gonna end up once we put wheels on this. And what I'm doing is just using this bottom arm here as my kind of like straight point, looking at the rotor to get an idea of, you know, a little bit of toe out is what we're gonna need. But obviously we're gonna do this properly later on. For now, that's that. Also, I'm gonna talk with Serial 9 because these are new outers. They don't actually have any articles on how to set them up or the ideal way that they should be set up yet. So I wanna check with them that I've done this right, what they recommend. So for now, what we're doing is just a quick eyeball alignment based off what I can do and what I do know. And then we'll make some changes later on and I'll let you guys know. It's time to test fit some wheels. These are what we normally run on the rear of the Bogan 32, but it's an offset that I want to just see if it's going to work well. Apparently on the internet from my research, this should be good. These are like plus 35. And it's an 18 with a 265 right now. This is not what I will be running whatsoever, but it's a good test to just see what we can work with wheel-wise. And it does go on. Doesn't seem to foul. Oh no, it's fouling on that back arm. I'd need spacers if I wanted to run this kind of big offset, I guess. Yeah, that is rubbing on that. It's like right on there. If the tire wasn't so big, we'd be fine. Grab these wheels. These are usually on the rear of the Chaser. These should fit and give us a bit more clearance, but they're gonna hit the fender if we go all the way down. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's nice. Tons of clearance here. But that's definitely got poke. A lot of poke. So let's just put these on just to see how they look. Nice. Hell
The white on white's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. All right, guys, I'm really excited. I think we got this pretty dialed right now. I got the orientation of the outers correct as well. So now it's clearancing everything it should. And now, by no means is this the correct wheel offset and everything that this car's gonna get. We're gonna probably run 17s all round, and the offset will be different. We won't be running big 265s. Right now, we are touching on a few things when we go full lock, so this is not max lock. There's still gonna be more angle in this. And we don't even have that much toe out right now, so there's even more in this. But this gives you a really good idea, so check this out. Now, it does move right now, but we are pretty much touching on the traction arm in the front there, the tension arm. So we'll be able to rectify that when we get the correct wheel specs, as well as, you know, we'll play around with the toe as well to get it more dialed in when we do the alignment. But correct wheel specs, tire size, we're not gonna have that issue. And I'm just, dude, this looks so good, doesn't it? Ridiculous. So if you do have a JZX, I really do recommend these knuckles. When they're designed to give you that kind of grassroots, nice feel, enough angle, still have that kind of self-steer feel. You're not gonna get that kind of, you know, needing a lot of that self-input and whatnot. These should feel really, really comfy. Super excited to try it out. And all the bushes have been upgraded, so you're gonna have more of that direct feel. The only bushings I haven't changed in the front to Serial 9 are the sway bar bushings. I need to check if they even provide those. If they do, I'm gonna upgrade that. And then I was thinking maybe if I do want more angle out of this, I can use their front tension arm. They have an aftermarket front tension arm that's high clearance that gives you like, I think like another whole inch or so. So it'll be really cool. Maybe we can upgrade to that and if we need more angle, but this is more than enough for someone to start off with. The JZX 110 already has a pretty big notch there for clearance in the wheels. And then the only other thing I was thinking was the upper, but I don't think we're gonna need it. You know, we're not gonna be slamming the car or anything like that. So I don't think we're gonna be contacting the top of the strut tower. And it's gonna be set up for Ebisu specs, so it's gonna be pretty high off the ground. This may also maybe be a little too low already, but let's lower this a little and just see if it'll, you know, sit. If it starts getting close to touching the fender, we'll stop. But I just wanna see this thing on the ground. It's, my Apple Watch is dead, but it's 12:30, so that's kind of ridiculous. And we've been working on this all day today, getting it done. Let's see, let's check. Oh man, this feels insane.
Cool.
Is it touching the fender?
No.
Here, it's not. Over here.
You've got like, it's Ebisu spec in the front and super tucked in the rear.
Oh wow, it is so tucked. Dude, that's kind of sick,
It
but
looks really cool.
it looks really cool. Look how tucked it is. Oh my god, it looks so cool. Imagine just rolling around in Ebisu with this. I ain't gonna lie, now I kind of want to put 18s on this.
I don't know if they'd fit, but like,
Dude, with my over fender on here?
yeah.
Like, we're gonna cut the fender and stick these on.
Those are so bad looking, but
Yeah, so?
form over function.
So this is gonna get cut here, right? And then they're gonna end up being up here. So there's tons of room. I think it'd work. Dude, this looks good. Not gonna lie. I'm pretty stoked. Imagine if it was actually a nice shell. I just keep focusing on how the front's starting to look nice now, and I just keep reminding myself the rear is destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, you spent all this time making the front all good, and then like,
Yeah, don't forget about the roof, all of this. But you know, we'll make it good. I still gotta fix this rust hole so we can get a window in here. Yes, we have glass for this to put in, so.
I don't know. That's gonna be a miracle.
I got a good glass guy. No, it's fine. We'll just have the hammer there and just bash it wherever he needs it. It'll be fine. We'll make it work. We've made bigger miracles happen. I've gone and put the car back in the air because I want to show you guys just how good this thing looks under the car compared to what it used to. If you just go back a few videos on this build and remember what it used to look like under here, you are going to be gobsmacked. But the whole front end now has pretty much whole new suspension. Everything just looks incredible. Dude, the Serial 9 stuff looks amazing. The only thing is I kind of wish I did paint my brake calipers black, but it's okay. Everything's gonna get a little dirty after we drive this for the first time. But remember how rusty all of this was. Then we changed everything, the subframe, the arms, everything. This brace was all bent and mangled up. Remember how dirty it all was under here? Oh, we still haven't connected the mid-pipe up. We need to do that. You guys remember the subframe too was completely rusted out. The fuel tank was rusted out. We put a whole nother new fuel tank in this. Like, this thing has come such a long way. I hope it does it justice, just how much better it looks under here now. It's kind of wild. I think that's a better shot getting down low where there's a bit more light let in. I do wish that I kind of dealt with this little rust spot here on the, like the heat shield for the tank, but it's fine. It's a heat shield. But yeah, this thing looks amazing under here. The only kind of remnants of it being rusty is a few bolts here and there and a few things on the transmission like that still look a little rusty, like the bushing and mount and stuff. Otherwise though, this thing looks incredible. Fresh clutch in there today. We still gotta, finish our eyeball alignment and make sure that this is all done correctly, but I'm pretty sure. Oh man, it looks so good, dang. Dude, Serial 9 stuff is so good. I know I keep preaching it, but I've run their stuff in my Chaser forever. The only thing I wish we did was have the AK angle kit in there because we just had so many times the wheel fell off. Anyways.
I like the welded diff.
Yeah, the welded diff. You love that?
Yeah.
True, it's got a welded 4.1 in there now. Upgraded rear end. All the Serial 9 stuff and goodies in the back as well. Sheesh, diff bushes. Look at this. Oh, I cannot wait to feel how this thing feels. All, 280 horsepower of what we're going to get out of this thing probably.
It's lighter than a Chaser. So.
That's true. The Neotech coilovers are awesome as well. On that note, if you do want to get Neotech coilovers or brakes, go to their USA website, neotech-usa.com, and use my coupon code SAMMIT for $400 off on brakes and coilovers with free shipping USA wide. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. It's been a long one. We're both wrecked and tired. I've got a road trip to do tomorrow as well. So things are gonna get a little hectic. But like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments about the Altezza and the progress. I'm really excited to see how this thing's gonna drive. I can't even think straight right now. Bye. Ciao.